Okay, we're sitting here with Vern Jackson and we're doing an interview for the Minerva Historical Society. And we're just going to ask you a couple of questions,
Okay.
Vern, about your school age years. What years did you attend the school?
1939 through 1951,
What was the name of your school?
Minerva Central.
How would you describe the building itself?
The building was, in my mind, was spectacular because it was the most impressive building in the town of Minerva by far. Had a, great gymnasium, great baseball field, marble floors. Everything about it was top of the line.
And what were your favorite courses at school?
History and science.
Okay. What would you say about your teachers?
They were all very, very good. They really were. All the grade school and high school and the professor were all very good.
Okay. And who was your principal and what do you remember most about him?
Okay, Philip Fitzsimmons was the principal, and he also taught classes though, and he taught Latin, and Latin was the first language where I ever absorbed the structure of language. Even though I had English, I didn't absorb it until I took Latin.
Yeah. And he what else did he teach?
He taught I think it was algebra or trigonometry, maybe both. And so he taught the algebra, trigonometry,
And Latin.
and Latin.
Okay. And how many kids were in your class?
12 or 13.
Okay.
And by the way, that was kind of an ideal number because the rooms were set up to handle 2 classes at a time in the grade schools, and so it fit perfectly,
How was the school arranged? Were there classes that were, so did you have 4th and 5th grade together? Did you, okay.
Yeah, we had 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7 and 8.
Okay.
7 and 8 though was up in high school with the high school classes.
Okay. How would your teachers describe you?
I think they would describe me as a good student and a good athlete.
Okay. Do you remember any particular book you read in school that left an impression on you?
Definitely. T Model Tommy.
What was T Model Tommy about?
About a young boy that had a Model T and all the exploits he had relative to making it work right and driving it.
Sounds like a good book.
Yep.
What were your most notable interests and hobbies in school?
Okay, my interests were basically, oddly enough, I liked Latin, and I liked science, and I liked algebra, and I liked trigonometry.
Okay. Industrial arts.
Oh yeah, industrial arts was really something because we had really, really top of the line equipment, and so we could make our own projects. And I learned a tremendous amount in, I guess I'll call it craftsmanship in industrial arts. Yeah.
Okay. And your favorite hobby was?
Hobby would probably be model airplanes.
Yep. And how many model airplanes did you actually make?
Oh my God. A great many.
Okay. What activities were you involved in school?
Okay, I was in varsity baseball as a pitcher, and then I played forward in basketball, or guard in basketball.
Okay. And did you play any musical instruments?
I played violin in the orchestra.
Okay. How did you spend your summers and vacations?
Okay, during the summer, from the age 14 through 17, I worked on town road construction. And I learned a lot too, though, because on rainy days we couldn't work on gravel, dirt roads. And the older guys taught us a lot about equipment maintenance. I learned a lot from those guys that came back from World War II. They were in their, late 20s.
Okay. And what did you do when you turned 18? Then what did you do over the summers?
Okay, that's when they began the Minerva Youth Program. And so I was one of the, I think they used the term counselor for taking care of the group. I think the group was 9 to 12, although sometimes there were situations where I think it went down to 6.
Okay.
But basically the heart of it was age 9 to 12. And I was, I taught swimming, and I also served as a lifesaver. And then I was one of the group that led this is a big deal for all the youth, climbing Mount Marcy. That was a big deal for them, and then camping out near the top and then going down the other side. It was a big deal for me too. I liked it, although I'd been up it before.
Sure. What would you do for fun in Minerva?
Oh my God. Just going outdoors was fun because the ground was all hilly. And so in the wintertime, you could get your sled out and go downhill anywhere you wanted to. Put on your ice skates and go down to the river, shovel it off and ice skate. Where I learned to swim and dive, where I learned to operate the rowboat, how I learned to learn the canoe. Everything was available because there's a river on the north side of the village of Oakville. So that was nice.
So basically the woods were your playground.
Yes, it was. And I loved it. I loved them, every one of them. I loved the trails. Yeah, I loved the trails. I loved the mountains. I loved the rivers. I loved the lakes. Everything about it was ideal.
Did you make any of your toys?
Make any what?
Toys to play on.
Oh, a great many model airplanes.
Okay. All right. And what other family members went to the school with you?
My sisters and my cousins.
Okay. And what did your parents do for a living?
My mom taught 7th and 8th grade at Minerva Central School, and my dad trained harness racehorses.
So he was gone much of the year, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was, because they started the training season on the East Coast anyway, down in South Carolina, Aiken, South Carolina. That was the first training track that opened to start the season. Then he moved up to Laurel, Maryland, and then after that he went to, I'm not sure of the sequence here, whether he went to Yonkers or went to Saratoga. Anyway, Saratoga was his home track. That was really his home track. And so I went down there, occasionally. They had a training track too, by the way, and I actually watched them really run races. Yeah.
What do you want to leave the audience with about your hometown of Minerva?
From the time I walked, I thought everything about it. First off, it was the town of Minerva was in a forest. I liked the forest. I liked having the garden. I liked having livestock. I liked taking care of the garden. Everything about it seemed to be very ideal to me. Very ideal. I liked it.
All right. This is conclusion of this interview. Thank you, Vern, for your input.
Thank you.